explain. It's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Mike.
And this week, we've got a Wonder Man trailer. That show is dropping this month. I forget we're in January 2026. Mike, congratulations on 11 years of doing this show with me. We are now in year 12, by the way.
Oh, you were saving the sweet reminiscing memory for the top of the show.
Yes.
So nice of you.
Yes. On episode 555, something about that just seems right along the way. So we're now 2026. We got a Wonder Man trailer. We're going to review Avatar, Fire and Ash, Stranger Things, Series 5, and as a whole, and just a couple other bits of news and more today.
Yeah, well, Chris, it all depends on the Verizon internet infrastructure out here in Southern California. I've already had to abandon my Verizon 5G home internet for this recording, so now I'm tethered to my phone, and we are going to see how that holds out alongside of the battery on my AirPods too.
Yeah.
So everything should sound still the same though, because we are good little boys that record directly into QuickTime. So you shouldn't notice anything on your ends, folks. But we are struggling here at the top of the year.
Yeah.
Well, at least I am over here. I don't know about you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm not struggling. No, I'm doing well in terms of actually the show today. Normally, I try to get the show ready for live, and then something messes up, and Mike has to deal with me fixing it like a madman. But when the internet's the issue, you can't tell sometimes. So we've been troubleshooting for 20 minutes or so, it feels like. But worst case scenario, you guys are just gonna at least get the intro to the show, and then we'll just come back next week if this continually messes up. If not, you'll have a full show. So roll of the die today, Mike, for the audience.
Life
that's for sure.
is full of ups and downs, and Chris, we are up right now in the sense of we are sitting on top of some deals, at least deals that are going to benefit us in a way. I know you are sitting on top of a bunch of retro video games that you have recently come into your life.
Games, consoles, and accessories. The entire kit and or caboodle, if you're familiar with that phrase. And yes, but what are you sitting on, Mike? I don't. Everyone knows my obsession with retro video games. It's not like it's a surprise to anyone listening to the show for the first time. I've got literally Nintendo 64s, regular Nintendo, Super Nintendos, a bunch of stuff I wanted, a bunch of stuff people wanted. I got the Jungle Green Nintendo 64. Do you remember that one? The one that came with Donkey Kong?
Oh yeah. Yes.
That see-through green. Absolutely. I love it. So I've got me one of those now. There's stuff in here I want to keep. I'm going to be getting rid of some stuff. I'm going to be cleaning up, fixing it. So if anybody wants anything, reach out to me. I'll hook you up with a sweet deal because it's getting like I got some little cardboard boxes I had laying around because I can't throw away a good cardboard box. It's in my body to keep all the good boxes.
You and my wife. Geez, yeah. I'm drowning in cardboard over here.
Yes. So I started filling those up yesterday with the help of my in-laws, and then I was like, oh, I'll do a couple today. I haven't even got to the PlayStation controller box, and a couple more up there. So I am in over my head, but I did get some really cool games. I found out this plastic tote of Sega Genesis games. Like I had a Sega Genesis. I don't know about you. I have a bunch of superhero games in there. Not just sport. These aren't just sports games. If they were sports games, I wouldn't have bought this whole lot. They're actual video games. I have The Punisher for Sega Genesis, which is currently online retailing for like $152. And I was like, someone's like, you gonna sell it? I'm like, no, I actually want the Punisher game because I want to play it, and it adds to my Marvel collection. But it's been fun. A lot of these come with cases. A lot of them don't. But like, I am just. This is my 12-month project, Mike. This is like, I'm going to spreadsheet this out. I'm going to be buying chemicals to restore stuff. You're going to have to deal with me personally on a personal level, Mike, of me, doing this for the next 12 months to get it. But I'm thrilled to do it, and I'm happy to have stumbled upon it. And if anyone wants anything or is looking for something in particular, reach out to me. I want to know. Mike, what are you sitting on? You tell me what you got. deal wise?
I'm sitting on a haul of art books. I have been an art book collector for a while. Usually, what happens is I walk out of the movie theater and I go like, "Oh my gosh, the art in that movie was beautiful. I must own the art book." And I run to Amazon, and the art book either exists already or it's on pre-order. And then there are great gifts also. If somebody's
Yes.
like kind of looking for like gift ideas, I get art books a lot as gifts. And I just kind of made the realization the other day when I look up like how much room they take. Like art books are big too.
Oh,
They're big and they're
preach,
heavy.
brother, preach.
And I get these art books and like I'm so happy to get them. And as soon as I unwrap them, I leaf through them. I look at some pages like, oh wow, this is great. There's so much information. There's so much visual reference I can pull from in the future. And then I literally never look at the book ever again. So I just had to make a hard and fast rule that like I'm only going to keep the art books that I actually think I might open one day and use as reference to make
Hmm.
more art. So I held on to maybe 5 books,
Good.
and then with the help of my wife, I'm selling like at least 2 dozen other art books. And she was listing them for me on this app called Pango, which is I guess an app for selling books. And she's just like, "You're not gonna believe how much 2 of your books are worth." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because usually art books kind of brand new, kind of hover around the $30 range, plus or minus. And I was kind of hoping maybe to get $20 for each of them. And she's like, "Your Art of Ooh book, which is the Adventure Time art book, is selling for like $300 on eBay." And I was like, "What? Excuse me?" And then she said, "Your Art of the Iron Giant book,
Hmm.
the highest I've seen it listed on eBay right now is like $2,000." And I was like, "Holy crap!" And they're this way because most art books are limited run. It's not necessarily because the art in it is so much better than any other art book, even though obviously the art book for the Iron Giant's going to be beautiful. It's like they just do a limited run and then they're done with it. A lot of like Pixar and Walt Disney animation art books, they just get reprinted because they sell them all the time, so there's no scarcity to them. So apparently, I have some scarce art books, so we're making a pretty penny off a couple of those. So Chris, between the two of us,
Yeah.
we should be able to pay the hosting
Uh,
for Superhero Slate for at least a couple more years.
yeah, yeah, oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of some of these things. I have a bunch of the art books or making of for the Marvel Studios movies
Hmm.
because at Comic Cons, like you go to a booth and they're just trying to get rid of them because they're so heavy and nobody wants them
Hmm.
all. And I have some, and they do make good gifts, but god damn, are those things heavy? And like what, like you said, where do you put them? Like I don't have a coffee table. They're not going on the coffee table for anyone to look at later.
Like
Uh,
they're begging for like an office, but I
yeah,
don't have an office, and I don't have like a specialized bookshelf
yeah.
for them. So if I can remember off the top of my head, I kept the Venture Brothers art book, which is
Hmm.
actually worth a couple $100s. I looked it up because I feel like my art style is close enough to the Venture Brothers where that reference would help me out in the future. I kept oh gosh. Oh, I kept the Steven Universe art books. Just because I absolutely love that show, and also I love the art style in there. And then there's like a couple like more referencey books that aren't related to any like movie or TV show. So I slimmed down
Yeah.
for sure. So one day they'll
One
go in
day.
an office.
I have I was going through my games as I do this weekend and noticed I have like 4 or 5 copies of that Avengers game that nobody liked from like 4 years ago. And then I also saw that I have the art book. I was like, oh boy, I invested pretty heavily in something that this. It's like when everyone bought in on that Battlefield Earth cups from Taco Bell. Back in the early 2000s. That movie didn't
Mhm.
go anywhere. But no, that's cool. I mean, that's all, I love art books, Mike. That's awesome, and like the fact you have them and like the good ones, right? Like the ones that are popular and can help you out. That's awesome. So good job with that. All right, let's jump into the news here, Mike. First and foremost, we're covering Avatar: Fire and Ash. We both watch it. Mike got to watch it this week, very recently,
Mhm.
fresh for him. With him, he got to see the third trailer for Avengers: Doomsday, which is the X-Men from the Fox era trailer. Which I'm jealous because I've only seen cams of this one so far, and on that same day that they started playing that, Marvel has officially released the Thor trailer, which is linked in our show notes if you haven't watched it. And trailer 4 rumored to feature Wakandans, specifically Shuri, and the Fantastic Four, specifically Mr. Fantastic. Mike, anything you want to say about this before we jump into even more rumors for Doomsday? Because I'm trying to keep all the rumors. I don't want all the rumors, but like the trailer ones are about the only ones we're going to talk about in the show, kind of going forward.
Yeah. Due to being in the theater in person, I was kind of, I don't know, expecting them to be a little bit more, but no, they're just as short as the official ones released. I feel like maybe the Captain America one like feels the longest, maybe just because like there's progression like in the shots, like you go from outside and the inside and then into a room.
There's also no dialogue.
But the
Captain America Chris Evans, Steve Rogers has no dialogue in it either.
Yeah, you kind of you sit with it a little bit longer. But I was like, oh yeah, you blink and you miss it. You get to see like a sweet tender moment where Xavier I don't know if he reunites with Magneto, because it kind of seems like they're in the house together. I don't really know what universe that they're looking at here. And then it's the same shot that's been leaked, that's been circling all around the internet with this James Marsden like shooting his blast up in the sky. So it's like, oh yeah, I basically just knew everything that was going to be in this before I even saw it. It was badass though.
Well, it's one of the cool things is this is the first time Marsden has been in the comic accurate costume as well. The blue with the yellow Y across the chest. It looks like he's doing a really, really big, like full blast optic thing, kind of like the intro of the X-Men cartoon series, right? Where he does that full blast towards the sky. And then if you look closely, you actually get to see big ass Sentinels walking behind him, like the comic book accurate Sentinels.
Oh, I didn't even catch that in the theater.
Yeah, it's like you said, blink and you miss it. I think of all the things we've seen thus far, I think Thor's prayer to Odin and Cyclops' blast are the only shots we're actually going to see in the movie. I think everything else, maybe the Xavier Magneto thing is in there, but like it feels not. These feel like they're made for trailers at the end of the day.
Yeah, it does, especially like the meandering through the X Mansion feels like very teasery, trailery in a way. I guess one thing that you could look out for if you happen to be going to Avatar to catch maybe the last trailer of this X-Men one, it's the very last trailer before like the Avatar movie starts going. It almost feels like they're hard coded, like attached to the film, because you like usually, at least in my theater, you watch all of your trailers and then you kind of get like a Cinemark like Coca-Cola Synergy commercial, and then the movie starts playing. So it's like, oh, am I not going to get my freaking X-Men trailer? But then it plays and then Avatar. Well, don't get too concerned if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and I think it's due to how they're locked. They're key locked, we've talked about. I think the movie has to play for them to watch the actual trailer, and like that's a certain way it unlocks her. So absolutely. So also, and this is news, not rumor, the Korean Ratings Board has listed 2 more Doomsday trailers for rating, so possibly up to 6 trailers total. Mike, we keep getting the scoopers / rumor train for these is like getting like, if you throw it at the wall, it'll probably be an article. If you want to make a rumor now, Mike, if you want to make a Doomsday trailer rumor right now, do it, and we'll see if it gets steam. But like they've also done it. So my theory now is maybe they're going to do one a week up until the Super Bowl big trailer reveal. Like I feel like they have the money, they have the engine to do this. They probably filmed all these things for the trailers back when they were doing the movie. Like they don't have to. They knew they were going to do trailers. This wasn't like a last minute decision to do a trailer. Do you think they could do 6 leading up to the Super Bowl? Like huge moment.
I mean, if we're leaning into this idea that a lot of the stuff we're seeing is not going to be in the movie, that means they don't have to worry about like spoiling too much or revealing too much. That would be really cool. I mean, we'll probably talk about it a little bit at the end of the show when we talk about Fire and Ash, but that movie's got legs, and I think it just crossed $1 billion. It did. Yeah. So they're going to leave it in theaters as long as it keeps making money, so they can keep slapping trailers in front of it.
Yeah, absolutely tied in there. Now, the last bit of thing is, I don't know if you've noticed this in all the trailers, right before they had the date, it says #Doomsday, and then the date pops up with the countdown timer, right? There's like a little glitch, and everything is a different time code. and people have been running
okay.
with these time codes as rumored dates, rumored time codes. We don't know what they are. So people have saying that the date codes have been like relating to scenes from Endgame. So like the Captain America one is the scene where Loki is being captured and like he runs off with the cube. This essentially kickstarts the Loki show, right? The second one from Thor's Bruce Banner talking to the Ancient One whenever they said you have to pull the stones and put them right back where you were, which is what Chris Evans, Steve Rogers was doing at the end of Endgame. And then,
interesting. Okay.
and then the one from the X-Men is the scene where Hawkeye goes back in time and comes back with that baseball glove in his hand from Endgame, where they're testing the time travel. So, so they're kind of leaning like, hey, maybe maybe Doomsday is a sequel to Endgame, and that all of their time travel shenanigans are causing these incursions. And Doctor Doom is like, these are the sons of bitches who did this, and I'm gonna go stop them.
I mean,
kind of thing.
I mean, honestly, that's probably their best strategy when they were breaking the story of just like the last two phases of Marvel have just been all over the place, like very much like hit and miss, spray and pray, throw what you can at the wall and see what sticks. So the Russo brothers were probably just like, let's just do a sequel to the last one that really worked. And it's really, if you think about it, it is a sequel to an Avengers movie. So they would be calling back to the last Avengers film. And then, of course, throw Loki in there because that's like literally the best thing that they've done since Endgame. So I wonder, I would assume that, I can trust these people looking up the time codes, but I wonder like how perfectly it lines up. Like I'm a stickler when I send somebody time codes like on YouTube, like when you do the checkbox. So I want to make sure as soon as they click that link, they are right where they need to be watching stuff. So I wonder like, okay, how close are these time codes to like actually like when Hawkeye comes out of the portal with like a glove? Like you have to wait like a minute before it gets there.
It's pretty close. They actually showed the screenshot of the exact time code and like the scene that it kicks off. So I feel it's pretty close, but once we have the next four or the fourth one, or possibly the next three trailers, who the hell knows? We're gonna see what it does. But I simultaneously love and hate the Doomsday rumor people. And you sent me one I didn't even know about yesterday, maybe this morning, of like the green box around Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, you can make anything a conspiracy now.
Yeah, you can literally. People are trying to throw anything at the wall and see if it sticks, and it's fun. But I love the energy for it, and we're here for it. Moving on, Marvel is also kicking off their next project, which is Wonder Man, dropping at the end of this month. I believe it's 8 episodes, 30 30-minute episodes, or the short episodes, not the long ones. And this is, I think, our first pretty, like, we've had some teasers, but this seems like a full trailer, where it introduces Simon Williams as who will play Wonder Man. Essentially, is trying to get the role of Wonder Man from the Kovac, the director, who's trying to fight superhero fatigue. This is a very meta commentary series, Mike, if you can't tell by watching it. They're bringing back Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery, and the biggest thing to me is like Hollywood. There no superpowered people are to be in movies, so it sounds like there might have been an incident that triggered superpowered people being on movie sets or something, possibly, and Hollywood's just put a ban down on it.
I wonder if it's just as simple as like they can't get the set insured if there's a superhero on it. Of just like, oh yeah, no, we can't. Legal won't let us. We can't get you covered by. And this this trailer really sells it for me even more. It kind of seems like lower stakes in a way of like. The big thing that they're trying to avoid is his secret coming out. There's lots of scenes of him trying to act like he's not a superhero, so I think that's kind of fun. So I wouldn't expect there to be like really a bad guy in this show at all. It kind of just seems like we're watching Seth Rogen's The Studio, but instead it's set in the Marvel universe. So this could be like a fresh take that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think that the spotlight's low stakes. The only thing I would call it, the Department of Damage Control appears again. One of the people, I believe they're asking Trevor Slattery to spy on Simon. So we might find out he's like he's a clueless guy with a good heart. So I think, he'll find out like, yeah, I'm doing this because I thought, he's wrong and it's going to be that. I think so. The bad guy to me is maybe the Department of Damage Control. I think in the trailer, or maybe it was like an image I saw from it, this is the, for Hollywood, no power since the Doorman incident, and Doorman is a powered person from the Great Lakes Avengers era of like really, really bad super like people with powers in the Marvel comics. So it sounds like we'll do that. It's all going to drop at the end of the month here, so we'll probably be talking about it come February. But check out that trailer in the show notes. Moving on, Fantastic Four 2, First Steps sequel, I guess we'll call it. They're rumored. Marvel is pretty much going to do it, right? They would be silly not to run with this character in universe, or not even universe, the characters they've set up from this universe. And they are rumored to want Matt Shakman back to direct this unannounced sequel. And it seems that the Fantastic Four characters will have larger roles in the upcoming 2 Avengers films, Doomsday, Secret Wars. I think this is a no-brainer, right? Like, Shakman, he did WandaVision. He's been giving us some of the best stuff. Like you said, Loki, but also WandaVision, right? In post Endgame Marvel, he's done good stuff. Let's keep him going, I guess, right? Like, no need to shake it up.
I mean, the best part about a sequel is they're really going to be able to hit the ground running. I mean, they already did. I mean, everyone already had powers. They introduced pretty much the whole team in a really fun montage at the beginning of the movie. But the sequel is going to come after, I would think Secret Wars based on the scheduling of everything. So we will be very familiar with this family by the time we see them in their own movie again.
And the kid Franklin, this is almost 5 years after the first. How long was it? Like that the kid was old enough to be walking and talking, it looked like. So they'll have a full family by this point. And maybe even Valeria, the daughter, the brother or the sister to Franklin, she could possibly be in it. So I'm excited for this to come out, and I want to see. Again, we've talked about the soft reboot. Even if they went back to their original universe, which would suck, I wouldn't want them to not interact with these other characters. But like anything they do is going to be awesome, right? To see these people around with that. Black Panther 3, Chadwick Boseman, he's out talking about something. He doesn't have a project coming out, but he's out doing some interviews. But he's been talking about Black Panther 3, and that he wants to do it. He wants to come back. Like, it's not like he has to. He really wants to. He worked his way through Wakanda Forever. But he'd also revealed an interesting fact that Sony stopped him from using Kraven in the original Black Panther movie. I think they wanted to use him instead of Claw. But the Claw had already been decided by the time he came in. And he quoted, there's a Christopher Priest Black Panther run, and I think the whole run starts with Black Panther, Ross, and Kraven fighting in like a kitchen, like a dining kitchen area. Not like a house, but like a restaurant. And I'm like, that'd been a cool way to open that movie, to see him fighting Kraven in a restaurant. But we got Claw. Claw was fine. I kind of forget Andy Serkis was in these movies a little bit because they killed him off so quick in the first one.
Luckily Claw was a cool character, but I'd love Ryan Coogler to be able to present Claw on screen. I mean, not Claw, Kraven. I love his portrayal in the last Spider-Man game because he was so like kind of comic book accurate. I feel like there's a whole like subset of social media of like these bro fitness influencers that are basically trying to achieve Kraven just lifestyle. So it would fit in the zeitgeist pretty well to bring somebody in. And also like Hollywood loves the ability to cast somebody big and jacked in their movie. I mean, no offense to I can't remember.
Aaron Taylor Johnson,
who played
Quicksilver himself.
He's obviously jacked, but I feel like Craven's got a bit of a volume to him, like a diameter to some of the muscles. But love to see Kraven at some point in the MCU.
I mean, Kraven is known for his hunts, which are I assume in other continents, not just New York. So dealing with maybe he is hunting the Black Panther, but we don't know it. Kind of like they don't know it. Like, how is someone who is smart and actually able to? He's not telepathically communicate with animals again. God damn that! I forgot the Kraven movie even existed until we talked about it. But
what we need is we need Kraven to be like teased in a movie with like another hero, and we think that this hero is going to be along like the whole way. Like it's going to be like a taskmaster type situation. And then the movie opens up and it's like, oh no, Craven captures them just to
Yeah.
like prove to the audience, like, oh no, Craven, he's a hunter. He
Yeah.
can capture even your most favorite beloved
Well,
superhero.
I tell you what, I mean, we've got a new Spider-Man trilogy coming up, and he's most known for being a Spider-Man villain, right? In Kraven's Last Hunt. So it could be, one of those things where maybe it's the Spider-Man 3, it's the handover to Miles, and Kraven's, better than the original Spider-Man, but he doesn't know about the other Spider-Man. Kind of like the game, right? Like the game had a really good Craven usage in there, so highly recommend that people playing Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 5. Easy now, killer. Let's jump into Blade news. I shared this with you. I think we talked about this off air between us. Is that the rumor is that Jordan Peele and his Monkey Paw Productions are interested in doing the Blade movie for Marvel. We've talked about Jordan Peele being like possibly in line for X-Men before they hired the guy who did Thunderbolts, some other stuff. So it sounds like there's some open communication between Monkey Paw Productions and Marvel Studios. Does that sound fair to you based on all the rumors we've heard?
Mm-hmm.
So when this rumor about Jordan Peele doing the Blade movie came out, that kind of lined up with what we know about Jordan Peele's most recent films, right? He has a history in horror and supernatural films. Blade is horror and supernatural at the same time. Seems like a match made in heaven if we could get him. And then Monkey Paw Productions commented with the eye emojis, and the internet blew up even further, if you will, about, oh my God, they're going to do it. This is a confirmation. Then Monkey Paw parodied their own response by saying, when the internet thinks you're making a Blade reboot because you said eye emoji. And honestly, I could go either way. Sounds like a fun time. But this is just funny, like how fast these rumors have gotten out of control.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Sometimes those emojis can be legally binding.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense, right? It makes me wonder, because it's been a minute since we've seen Jordan Peele kind of have any traction, I guess, on his next movie. I'm sure it's in production and it's great, but I feel like he hasn't like hit the theaters in a minute. So I don't know. Maybe he is interested in a big old payday from Marvel, or who knows? Maybe like somebody like walks up to his like front gate at his house, like every other month, like, hey, you want to make a Marvel movie? He's like, oh, come back to me next time.
His only 3 movies are Get Out, Us, and Nope. At the end of the day, where he was a director, he's not had a good run. I would say Him didn't do very well this year. That was
Marlon his Wayans, like executive produced. Yeah, there's like a whole other like side of his business where he's just producing and putting his name on it. So, and
then he couldn't buy, what was it, Weapons? The story came out where he wanted to buy Weapons, the script, and like his team let him down, so he like fired his team or whoever was in charge of that at the time. So it's not been a good run. Blade would be a good run for him. I think it's had enough it's had enough bad news, enough kicks, if you will, while it's been down. But do you think he'd be a good fit for it, Mike, based on what you know? Because he wants control. I think he would want that creative control.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great fit to make a Blade movie, but would Jordan Peele want to fit into Marvel? I think is the big question.
Yeah, he could. I mean, if Marvel's going quality over quantity, they might let him. They might just let him. They were like, you know what? We need something different. Give it to him. Let him have it. Let him run with it. Bob Iger, he has to retire in like a year anyway. We won't have to worry about him saying anything in 12 months or whatever his secession date is that may get extended because he likes to stay longer, whatever that is. So anyway, Blade news on the thing. All right, we feel like we're rushing through this, but we got 2 reviews we want to go through, and we don't know if Mike's phone will last. So we're gonna.
I think we're good right now. I think we're good.
That's fine. So we're gonna jump into the. I don't know. This is technically the shorter of the 2 things, despite it being a 3-hour and 15-minute film. So we're gonna jump in and talk about Avatar: Fire and Ash. I'd say full spoilers. This movie has been out for almost 3 weeks now. it's not really anything that's going to be spoiled for you on the internet. I think will ruin this film either. By the way, I don't think this is like a big reveal, yank the rug out from under you, changes you how you view the Avatar films. It's just a sequel to The Way of Water, is how I'm gonna give it the first thing. Like, if you didn't watch Way of Water, you're not gonna get this movie. Go back, watch Way of Water, because this is exactly the second half of that film. If I was to say,
Also, like on the reverse end, Stranger Things, we're going to be talking about the final season. So obviously, we're going to be talking about spoilers. So
yes,
I guess this is your heads up. If you haven't seen any of these things and you care about them, I guess this is the shortest episode of Superhero Slate that you'll ever listen to.
yeah, yeah,
So I guess bye, or and then hello and tune
yeah.
back in if you're ready to hear about Avatar.
Yeah, if not, we'll see you next week. If not, here we go. Let's talk Avatar, Mike. I saw this day it came out. 3D even. I had to watch it in 3D because I was like the only one. Did you see it in 3D or any special feature?
Yeah, it was the time that worked best for us was 3D. But bemoaned by my wife, though. She liked the 3D, but she said she could only handle it for about 2 hours,
Uh huh.
and then it was just too much visual input for her, and it was too stressing on her eyes. Whereas I told her it was like a visual feast for me. I was like,
Yeah.
can I make it 4D? How can I get more dimensions into my eyeballs
Yeah.
of this movie? So I told her next time we'll try to bring those like 3D removal glasses where you put them on and it's just two dimensions, and then she can kind of just like
Yeah.
swap in and out. Like when the action scene starts, she can put the 3D glasses on
I
because
yeah.
I love the 3D. I forget like how immersive and well done from
Yeah.
Cameron's team it is.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't just end up going with a 2D screening.
Well, the beauty the beauty of this is that the film's almost all CG generated for most of it. So turning it to 3D is essentially just turning like designing all the models with 3 dimensions and then adding that depth to it. So it's a pretty easy conversion. But like, I'll agree with you. I'm not a 3D person. I'm blind in my right eye, so I can't see a lot of 3D, and so it will make me sick. But I was not overwhelmed by it. I will say the one thing that always catches me off guard with these films, Mike, when you're not watching them at home, is the 48 frames per second. Like when this movie starts, and you get the trailers that are like 24 frames per second or even 30, and then jumps right into 48. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes for me to adjust to everything feeling like it's moving very fast, even though it's not. But once you hit that 5-minute mark of this movie, I'm in. Nothing's bothering me. I'm not thinking about how it's made. I'm just watching the movie, hitting the ground running, because this one picks up pretty closely where the other one ended, right? Like almost like the weekend after, it felt like.
Yeah,
maybe
it's kind
longer.
of crazy. I heard, I don't know if this was true intentionally. I know these last two movies were kind of filmed in conjunction, and I think even Cameron on a podcast said that like I think he can't even really track the line items for like the budgets on the two movies because it's kind of just like one big project for him. So he's just like that's for the executives to figure out. I'm just out here making the movie.
Yeah.
I think he's quoted saying like these movies cost a butt ton to make, so they need to make a butt ton at the box office, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yep.
But either this was originally supposed to be one full movie and then he decided to split it into two, or I don't know how early in the process that was, but yes, you can very much look at these as like two side by side projects. There's absolutely nothing related to like the similar gap that you see between the first Avatar movie and the second one. This is like a kind of like a whole new era for the story. And yeah, when we were driving to the theater, I was like, "Oh crap! Yeah, somebody told me that this is basically a sequel to Way of Water, and it would be helpful to like either rewatch the movie or watch a recap." And I forgot to do that, but luckily, like sometime like last year, maybe earlier, I guess in 2025, we rewatched it just like casually on in the background. So we were driving to the theater, my wife and I were just trying to recap the movie to ourselves. We're like, okay, wait a minute, who died? Who
Yeah.
lived? What was the son's name? I don't remember the son's name. And then we were just like, oh, I remember Spider. He's like the one human character, and he has to breathe through a mask. And that stuck in my head because I swear I saw either like a half a TV spot or like half of like a Threads post where like somebody was talking about his like ability to breathe on the planet. So I was like, maybe that's going to come up. So I'm glad that was fresh in my mind, because this movie is shockingly driven by Spider's ability to breathe on the planet. Like if you would have told me that going into the movie, like, oh, that's going to be the driver for the whole plot, I'd be like, wait, what? Spider's like such an ancillary character. He's just kind of like along for the ride, just to remind you how big these blue people are. I feel like.
Well, I think that,
in my opinion, it worked. The story worked for me.
I agree. I think that diminishes his role because he is the actual legitimate son of Quaritch, who is who will perpetually be the villain.
Yes. His role is much bigger in this movie compared to the last movie.
Yeah. It rolls, and I would also say even Sigourney Weaver's Kiri has a bigger role in this one as well. Like finding herself as who she is. What does it mean that she exists? She's the immaculate conception of the Avatar people, and like their god was Awa, I believe is the name, who has like
Chris. Chris, excuse me. The movie is called Avatar. These are the Na'vi people.
That's true.
Respect the indigenous culture of Pandora, please.
The Na'vi, and we also the Fire Nation attacked, and the Water Tribe had to deal with the Fire people. It's very much Avatar: The Last Airbender in terms of like elemental, but it's fine. But overall, like I had a really good time with this movie. Like I'm just, to get out of the way, like I had a really good time. I've not thought about it a lot since I've watched it, to tell you the truth, but that doesn't mean I had a good time. I will tell you my one, it's not even a complaint. The one thing, Mike, is that the finale of this feels very, very, very similar to the finale of the last movie, where they're hunting the whales.
I can't decide if it's insane that James Cameron basically made the same movie over again and made me love it, or if he's just like a madman and there's like something bigger at foot here. Because it wasn't until like halfway through the movie where I was just like, hey, this feels like really similar to the plot. And then at the end, when they were setting up like this big fight to happen back at kind of like their beach city or whatever it's called, I was like, hey, wait a minute. And then like the whalers are back again. And I was like, okay, this feels like very Cameron, right? I mean, the iconic story of him going to pitch the Alien sequel, and he puts an S $sign. He's like, oh, I'm just going to give you more of what you like.
The way of waters. The S on the water.
Exactly. This is the way of waters with the $sign. And like, I don't want to compare this movie franchise to Fast and the Furious, because that's not fair. Like the Fast and the Furious movies are just like schlock that they churn out for a buck. This is like very finely handcrafted like artwork, whether or not you think the stories are like simplistic or straightforward. Like, I think these movies are great, but I go into them knowing what I'm looking for, right? I'm going to see some really cool visual effects. I'm going to be able to hang out with my Na'vi family again. Eventually, where I'm going to see some like really cool like human tech, which always like gets me. Like there was like the you only see it for a quick second, but it was like almost like an envoy vehicle in the human city, and when the wheels just turned all the way to the side.
Oh yeah, when it came in and turned, I was like, oh, of course James Cameron made a futuristic car that people.
Yeah, I was like, that's just sick. Yeah. And then the I think the technically like the big like plow truck was in one of the other movies when they're like kind of like paving the forest. But I was like, this is all I need from these movies. Just like this cool stuff. I love returning to Pandora because it feels so real. Like never in movie history have we like dissected an alien planet so much, and there's so much variation of life. We get to see like these cool new traders that have like these cool new creatures that fly.
The air tribe.
I was expecting the ash. Yes. I was expecting the ash people to actually be like a bigger like kingdom. I thought they were going to be equal to kind of like this these water Na'vi, but no, they're like these band of like raiders. There's maybe like, I don't know, maybe less than like 50 to 100 of them or something like that.
It's a smaller tribe,
kind of like this rogue.
Yeah.
And they're relatively new, like within that
ecosystem.
I forgot her name. I remembered it yesterday.
It's Varang.
It starts with a V.
It's Varang.
Yeah, Varang. Varang, like this tribe has only been around as long as she's been alive because she spun it up after a volcano wronged her. I mean, like what a badass origin story. I wish I would have saw this movie in IMAX the moment that they took the space cocaine, because when those trippy visuals started happening, I was like, man, I wish I was looking at like a 90-foot screen right now. I want this to encapsulate like my entire
Yeah.
peripheral vision right now because that
Well,
scene was so trippy. Like this movie is just like a visual feast. I love it. It's
it's
made $1 billion. Please give me two more of them. I'm begging you, Cameron. Please make two more of these.
yeah. I think the again, I was happier with the oh shit, Gamora, the actress who plays Gamora, the wife. Well,
Natiri.
yeah, Terry. I was happier with her this time around because she actually had more to do sometimes. It was a deep. There were some deep moments, like whenever Jake thought he had to go and like kill Spider, like in the woods, like look the other way.
Oh yeah.
I was like, God damn,
I'd
this is wild. Like they're taking it this far, in some of these moments.
be lying if I said a couple tears didn't
Yeah.
fall from my cheek in this movie. Like nothing emotionally impactful like this
Right.
ever happens in the Fast and Furious franchise. So I'll
Yeah.
keep making my comparisons to other very box office
Yeah.
friendly
It's
franchises. The one I was going to ask you, it's been a
yeah.
couple weeks since you've seen it. So
Yeah.
maybe you might not remember, or maybe you didn't clock it, or like you said, you haven't thought about it much since you saw it. But the one thing that kind of bugged me about this movie, and like I can let it slide because I had such a good time. So when the Colonel, he's a
Quaritch.
Colonel, right? The bad guy in this movie,
Yeah.
Quaritch. Yeah, when Quaritch and the Sully family depart ways the first time, right? And the Colonel goes back to the humans, and he's just like, "Hey, guess what? Spider can breathe now." And they're like, "Hey, go get that kid. Go find him. Go track him down." Right?
Yeah.
He. There's a montage of him like going around the planet, like shaking down all these other tribes people, and then he's just like, "Nobody's giving me answers. I need to go get. I need to recruit Varang because she has this ability to interrogate people." Okay, great. Nothing wrong with that. I love that. Makes total sense, right? But Spider was hiding at his house. Like that's like the one place you should look first, right? If you're trying to find this kid. So I don't know if it's just like an unsaid idea that like, oh, they never thought to go look at where he was because that doesn't make sense. Why would you go back there? It's like the first place they look. So they're not going to look there first, but it did feel kind of
Yeah.
silly that Quaritch had to go through all of these all of these trials just to find him back where he lives at
Yeah.
his house. So
Well, if
I don't know if you picked up on that at all.
no, not really. I mean, I didn't know. I wouldn't have pegged where Spider was. I was more to me. I was more interested in the human city that has evolved over these years, right?
Oh yeah, very
But
cool.
but at the same time, I was disappointed with how little we got of it. I'm like, oh, this feels like a video game scene where you have to go, let help someone escape in the middle of the city, then run from the ships, and then there's like a couple explosions. Like, I wish Neytiri had actually done some damage, and like, oh, the military person's like, we lost this. We're behind now by months or whatever because they couldn't do something. I really wish they would have terrorist the humans in this one a little bit more.
Well, Natiri definitely did some damage, but it was never
Yeah.
vocally like
Right.
confirmed. So
Exactly.
Cameron does have a window. Like maybe the next movie opens up. Like I would love to see more of the human village. So maybe the next movie could open up the whole opening
Yeah.
scene is just from the humans' perspective on how they are
Well,
dealing
yeah.
from the fallout of a Navi like shooting exploding arrows like basically all over their explosive tanks.
Yeah, because was like Giovanni Ribisi's character's there. He wants the
He's back.
unobtainium.
He
Yeah,
wasn't in was he in the second one? I don't think he was in the
I think
second
it was
one.
briefly in two. Because like I said, this happened like a weekend over, like, and it takes like years to get there. So I think he was in the last one. Edie Falco's general or whatever. She's in there. Like, I don't know if they actually lived off the boat being sucked up into the magnetic portal at the end.
I think they did. There was a line where she says abandoned ship. We don't see them escape in any sort of like pods or anything like
Yeah,
that, but I
yeah,
think it's the one thing that kind of bugged me is Cameron in one of his interviews was talking with the interviewer, and they said, well, you left, a lot open. There's a lot of room here to make more movies. And Cameron's like, no, 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 no. I really only left one thing open, and they didn't want to like spoil anything. thing.
Yeah.
And then the credits start rolling on this movie. I was like, are you high, James Cameron? You didn't wrap anything up.
It ended very ambiguously. Like, I don't know who's alive. I don't know who's dead. I forgot Varang just kind of ran off from Kiri and her god powers.
Korich is definitely alive. I mean, you've kind of already established his character just survives everything, and in true Hollywood fashion, nobody dies unless you actually see them die.
Right. And then they all go into the spirit world where you actually get to see the people who died, because Spider gets to be part of the Avatar, I guess, neural network of spirits, which is
so cool. I love like this like imaginary culture that like Cameron's invented of just like, wouldn't that be like so rad, where like life and death just isn't so brutal, where you could still like commune with your ancestors, you could still go visit them, you hang out with them, and it's like they're actually there. Like, man, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, and I think the most surprising fact is they actually gave like a physical representation of Awa in this as well. Like, when Kiri get there, it's like
see like a little sign,
the profile view. So I think there's so much more to be explored here. James Cameron can say yes, it's wrapped up, but he's also been obsessed with these movies for how many years now? His last 4 movies have all made $1 billion. I don't know if you knew that. All last 4 James Cameron directed films have all been $1 billion. He's the first director to ever have 4 $1 billion movies, and they were the last 4 he did. So it's surprising.
Yeah, I think.
But like I don't think he wrapped it up. I agree. I just want to say before you go, I don't think he wrapped it up as well as he thinks he did. I think it just ended, and I'm like, I'm like, no. But like, there's video games that are analogous to this. Like they have Korich, who actually has a voiceover in the DLC for the Avatar game, from the real actor.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna have to get on this I'm gonna have to get on this Pandora game. I think it goes on deep discount occasionally on the online stores.
And they added third person. And they added third person, so you don't have to play it in first person the whole way through. So.
Love that. I would love to give that a shot.
Yeah.
I think like I said, I very much want more of these movies. They're great. One thing I'm trying to prepare myself, at least with like the social media narrative, just because I'm a human being and I'm on social media just like everyone else is, even though I wish I was on it less. I think we're going to be getting, even if there's 2 more movies, I think we're going to be getting diminishing cultural returns. There's already people out there that say these Avatar movies have no cultural impact because they can't remember any of the characters' names. And to them, I would just say, name one other character's name in like Mission Impossible franchise. People might not even know Tom Cruise's name is Ethan Hunt in those movies. I can't name any other character in those movies. So that's already a failed test. But I think critically, this movie is slightly lower than the other 2. They'll probably make less money than the previous ones throughout the franchise, just because we don't have that time anticipation gap between the first one and the second one. They're still going to make a very successful amount of money, but I would just prepare yourselves for that, people out there. If you really love this franchise, like, I don't think we're going to be picking up like more feverish fans along the way. I think there's going to be a lot more contradictors that jump on the bandwagon, but I don't care.
And I'm going to say,
fun. I love this planet.
There's 2 things to you. Number one, asterisk. That's domestically in the U.S. This is a global phenomenon where it is taking off. Like, the U.S. people may think,
that's right, Chris.
Everything you're saying is like everyone here in the U.S., which is not like the majority of the money that make the, like, I think it's like 350 to 400 domestic, but it's like 600 to 700 globally. Like, it's doing gangbusters over there. But at the same time, James Cameron may not do anything culturally, but like what he is doing for filmmaking and how this is being shared and applied to more movies will be the results of the Avatar films, right? Like the how good, like, I know South Park parodied James Cameron raising the bar, but if this is what movies can look like, and you believe that there are Na'vi, 7 foot, 8 foot tall blue people running around with humans, and you don't even think twice about it. That is what he's going to be giving to cinema and people who make movies going forward. All this technology, all these tips and tricks that we won't talk about. People won't know.
I believe in James Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to pull out about this movie. I thought the Miley Cyrus song at the end was fun. I forgot that she did an original song for it.
yeah,
So that was pretty emotionally compelling. It does end pretty abruptly.
yeah,
Like you kind of forget for a moment the, oh, this is like Spider's movie, and then Spider kind of gets like the final resolution at the end when he gets to connect to the tree. So it is kind of like a like, oh, we're out of the movie, and then we're so accustomed to like end credit scenes, and there is none in this. You're just like, oh, can I get teased a little bit more? But yeah, we gotta figure out what's the overall
the
resolution. Somehow they have to stop the humans from coming to the planet. I don't know how you do that. I would think if the rumor is that we are supposed to get a glimpse of Earth in the final movie, in the fifth movie, maybe once we get to go back to Earth, they've claimed to say that the Earth has kind of been strip mined and destroyed. That's what we've been hearing. So if that's truly the case, maybe Earth is like about to run out of resources and they
mhm.
only have maybe like one more trip left in them to get to Pandora. So then, because you can only fight the humans off for so long, they can still keep building spaceships and coming. So at some point in time, there's got to be some sort of like ultimate, like, how do we stop the humans from getting here? So curious to see how that's going to
Yeah.
be because you can't just turn
Well,
the greed off of them.
I think also we've seen the same four places on this in the last three movies. I want to see more of this world. The Wind Traders were very short lived. Like I want to go with the Wind Traders. I want to
Hmm.
see those routes. I want to see the other people, like who are living around this. What will I think Quaritch will end up being a good guy at the end of this. I think that's the arc they're trying to set for him, is like being the conflicted
Hmm.
dad and then also being a Navi. You know, Varang, I don't know what her next goal is, but I do think it'll be either we will have some humans here we live with peacefully and nothing else, but like Awa as a whole, this planet, this spirit, I think will become like a planetary defense system at some point in the fifth movie. Like
Yeah.
it will
Yeah.
be
I
like
don't
we're
know
gonna
too
push
much of the
back
lore.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much of the lore of how you become like a Navi shaman because it's the shaman that's in that Walt Disney World ride, right? Like the big, like beautiful animatronic that they have down there. I think that they just call that a shaman. So I think Natiri is being keyed up to be
Yeah.
like the next shaman. So I don't know if there hasn't been one for a while or if there's currently one. She's got to go like, go to trade school,
Yeah.
be the apprentice of the shaman or
The
what happens. But I think that's
yeah.
obvious. And then, like, yeah, I think you're right. They'll should be able to connect to the planet. I don't know if it's like a giant root system, like blasts from the Earth and like starts knocking spaceships out of orbit or what.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's something like that
Yeah,
coming.
there's a lot of like we would call electromagnetism that is like could be spiritually
Hmm.
related, and I don't know. There's just more of this I want to see. I think my disappointment is how close this was to the second one, but it's not enough to stymie how I feel about the film and the franchise as a whole. It's just
Yeah,
I
I,
I, I know this is a sequel, but I wish it had been a. I hope the next two are even very much wildly different from this.
yes, I refuse to give it a score out of 10, which is
Yeah.
something that Gen Z loves to do. I will give it the very classic rating of two thumbs up, and you
Hmm.
should go see it.
Again, I listened to another podcast. They only have two ratings: worst movie ever, best movie ever. And if I was to follow their thing, this would be best movie ever by a long shot. So,
Love it.
uh,
Chris, I'm happy. I was a little worried going into this because I know you weren't quite as into the franchise as I was. You still liked it. So I was like, oh, is Chris gonna hop on this podcast and basically say all this I don't want him to hear? But I'm glad we're aligned.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, again, I'm not. I don't have to think about it. That's the best part. I don't need to go. This isn't a deep spiritual movie for me with a lot of stuff. It's the same. It's the same as the second one. So. All right, let's shift real fast into the next cultural phenomenon, if you will, that had like almost overshadowed Fire and Ash a little bit because this is a lot more people, and that's Stranger Things. The fifth and final season has released all three parts, all three volumes. Somehow we got through it, Mike. Their weird release schedule. We came out the other side along the way, and I can't. And yeah, it's silly to me, but we made it. So you waited to watch it all, right? Or did you watch it as it came out? I don't remember.
No, I watched it. I watched it as it came out because I was terrified of spoilers.
Okay, yeah, that's smart. And honestly, much like Avatar, I don't feel there's a lot of spoilers in here. I think there's like maybe three things overall, but like surprisingly, it didn't really pull the rug out from under us in ways I thought it would. Somehow.
I I think it's because we didn't really know iconic characters died in the finale, which I think would have spurred most of the spoilers. And we can talk about the theory of is Eleven alive? Is she dead? That's a big point of contention I've been seeing in threads. This has been my problem, Chris. I don't know if Netflix has paid Mark Zuckerberg to juice the Stranger Things algorithm on threads, but I like half interacted with one Stranger Things post like 2 days ago. Like I barely looked at it. It's almost like I scrolled and I just lingered for a second longer than any other post. And now like every other post on my threads feed is just Stranger Things hot takes. And it, like you said, it's so overwhelming. I tried to go into the app and manually search Avatar, Fire and Ash, just trying to get the movie I just saw, like to pop up in my feed. Nothing I did was working.
Yeah.
Like I tried so much to get the app to show me Avatar content and it would not. So I've just been inundated with Stranger Things over and over and over again. So I know all the hot takes, I know all the theories, I know the pros and the cons, I know where the fandom lies. So I feel like my brain is melting.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and say, I as someone who reluctantly came into the show, right? I think remember we've been doing the show the whole time. This has been out there, by the way, if people didn't know this. I didn't want to come into the show, didn't really care for it. This final season, I appreciate the quickness at which the show hit the ground running and didn't like try to linger on anything too far. Like didn't try to set up more mysteries. That was the something I really appreciated, and it just ran with it. And it's overall, I feel okay, good. Yeah, I'm not. I have no hot takes. I have no theories, Mike, because I don't care enough. But it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. Like I did. It's like I enjoyed it. Like I'm glad. Like I saw all the ones where everyone thought like was it 8 was gonna turn on the team, like she was working for Henry and stuff. And like I'm glad none of these off batshit crazy off the wall theories came true, and it just kind of was what it was. The one thing I will say appreciate, there was they gave the villain a chance in the last episode to redeem himself a little bit. They were like, oh, it wasn't you, it was the mind flayer and the rock, right? The whole long. And he's like, no, it's me, I wanted to be evil. And I'm like, thank God he just said that, because that, like, if they tried to like they tried to redeem him in the last 30 minutes of a whole show where he's been evil and killing people the whole time, it wouldn't make sense, right? At the end of the day. But overall, I had a good time. I think that's a great team of characters. I think the ending portion of it, when they jump like forward like 18 months, but like none of the kids had aged up, like the younger kids, I was like, they should have done the D&D game right after the thing rather than wait 18 months, because those kids literally look the same as they did 18 months ago, which it doesn't make sense. But overall, I had a good time. Nothing too bad. I personally, I think there's like a missing season in here, like a 4.5, because the one thing I know is that they kept going back to that high school scene where like all the parents knew Henry, but they didn't acknowledge that.
Chris,
but that's
this
it.
is where this is where my algorithm is going to help us out, because I had no idea. But a stage play.
I have the
of
stage
Stranger
play,
Things
but I don't care.
exists.
I don't want to watch a stage play to understand a TV show. We've talked about this before. I don't need to go watch something else. That's only like in one place. It's not even a traveling stage play, I believe. But it's on
I
Chris
agree,
Flicks,
but
by the way.
also I think it's kind of funny because some people were trying to say like, oh, how does Henry know all of these parents in Hawkins? Like, wasn't he locked up in a lab like during his whole like life before he got blasted into Dimension X? And to that, I think I agree with that. So why did they even need to make a stage play of him going to high school with them?
He wasn't locked up as a kid. That was only 11, and like when they were trying to replicate him, they found him as an adult to do that. That's stated in the show. Back in like this, was it last season? whenever or whatever season Henry first appeared in. He wasn't put in there as a kid. He was an adult with like the inhibitor chip on him or whatever they call
Well,
her.
I remember he was an adult with the inhibitor chip, but I thought that in like season 4 they showed his parents like taking him to that lab when he was a kid.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't get the vibe that
he,
he was just there. Because I thought his dad was the killer, right? They like that's why his dad was imprisoned. And like, do you remember his
which
dad?
is funny because I think he's still technically in prison.
Yeah,
He's just there right now,
yeah.
rotting, and there's no
Either
way to prove that he didn't do it.
either way, I feel like there's a season 4.5 that we didn't get here that fills in some of these gaps that I would like to have watched. But at the same time, I'm glad we didn't like. Unlike was it like a J.J. Abrams gig? Like was it Lost? Like we didn't introduce any new black boxes or mysteries in the final season. They just went straight for what we already knew and just went for it.
Yeah.
Also,
Even though they kind of did, we don't really know where that rock in the briefcase came from. I mean, we
uh,
can assume, obviously, oh, did this fall from
it's
Earth from Dimension
Mission
X,
X.
or
Yeah,
how they say that there's a live action spinoff that is confirmed and coming. They said it's going to take place in a different decade and none of the characters are returning. This is like a whole new cast. So they're either going to go back in time and maybe show the origin of what was in this briefcase, or who knows, maybe it'll be like a dual time. Maybe it'll be present and past and they'll like stitch the two together. I don't know.
Um, okay, the spinoff delves into the Rock, and that's fine. For me, it didn't matter too much. It was like, oh, this is the mind. When it went into his helm, I'm like, oh, this is the mind flayer. This is where his powers came from. I'm like, I get that. I don't need to know about the Rock in a briefcase. Also, the military sucked in this season. They were there. They were pointless. Absolutely fucking pointless. I get it. You get Sarah Connor to be there, but what did she do? What did Sarah
Yeah,
Connor do at all?
yeah, I mean, like this is kind of like my biggest problem with the final season. You know, it came out in chunks, so I feel like I couldn't quite render my final opinion until I watched the finale, and then I sat with it for a day, and then I was talking to my wife, and I said, you know, the more I think about the last season of Stranger Things, like the less that I like it. You know, I don't think it's awful. Right, they've done a great job like building up these characters and their personalities and their relationships, that you know whenever a new season comes out it's just nice to see them interact again. You know, they're all
Yeah,
friends. Like who doesn't like seeing Dustin and like Steve be like BFFs, like father son, mother son, whatever
yeah.
archetype you want to apply to them. It's really nice seeing that, right?
Mother
But
daughter,
yeah, there's
really.
a lot of things. Yeah, yeah, there's just like a lot that in this season that it didn't really work for me, or it didn't feel like exponential in a way. I feel like usually in a final season or like a final episode, you kind of like you want to be like elevated beyond like the average. And it just fell very in the middle. You know, if I'm looking at all of the extreme takes online of like people that hated it and people that loved it, I feel like I kind of fall right in between of just like
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping after 9 years of the show, I'd be like a little bit more moved after the final season. And I feel just absolutely whelmed, as Robin from Teen Titans would say. I mean, it was cool that the mind flayer at the end was like this physical spider. I thought that was neat, but I thought it was just absolutely ridiculous that a bunch of like high school juniors were like throwing shit at it. And then like they were like, oh, let's go over there and climb on top of this ridge. And it's just like, okay, like, well, you have to climb up there.
Yeah.
I know this is like a big frenetic battle, but like, I don't believe for a second that you've just climbed up there and you're going to throw like gasoline water balloons
I,
at it. Or it
I
just
think
felt so
you're
silly.
I think you're picking apart weird. So, I mean, the fact they climbed a radio tower and got in there, Mike. I can let all of this
A
go. I
radio
think you
tower
should.
has a ladder.
I think
They,
you should
they
let. Well, but
are
like,
like
but they
the,
also went up into that, which should have had its own gravity. Like, I think there's a bunch of stuff you should just probably not worry about them climbing on the rocks. They already went through another dimension and like a portal
I
to
think it's
another
just like
dimension.
I think it's just a balance that the Duffer Brothers just couldn't hit in the finale. I mean, obviously, this is like, you know, like fantasy science fiction show, like Dungeons and Dragons, however you want to play it. But like, there's a balance between like what some viewers are going to believe, what some viewers are going to let go, what some
Well,
aren't.
it's
You know,
but
like
like
there's definitely nitpicking. Like I saw some people complaining online that wait, they went out of their way to say the mind flayer likes it cold. So why did nobody say it was cold on the planet? Like that's stupid. I don't like I don't care about the temperature on the planet.
yeah.
Like to me, like that's nitpicking. But like I don't know. It's just like I'm hoping I was just hoping that the threat would seem somewhat manageable to like this group of kids.
I
Like there's like a moment where like Steve and Dustin are trying to like pick their loadout, for the last battle, and they're like looking at the guns. They're like, no, 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 don't pick the guns. Let's pick the stick with knives on it. And it's like, okay, sure, whatever. Like I think that's a pretty
well,
dumb decision. You're
no,
going to fight like an interdimensional
but
monster.
none of the guns didn't work on like the Demogorgons all absorbed the bullets. I think they already showed that the guns don't work on creatures from the other dimension very well.
I mean, Nancy had a shotgun and it was working pretty well.
Yeah.
So
I think you're getting into I think you're part of the nitpicky crowd at this point, but like I
nah, I don't agree.
well you wouldn't agree, but like there needs to be, to me, there's like the 4.5 that like it jumped really fast to this season, and that's fine. Again, I mean, I liked it fast, but like there needed to be more.
It required so much exposition. Like in previous seasons, we got like 1 to 2 like exposition dumps per season. Like the scene where like they go to like a teacher or somebody's trying to compare it to Dungeons and Dragons. They do the whole thing of just like, oh, you take a piece of paper, you fold it in half, and then you push like a pencil through it. Kind of like those type of scenes. Like happened a couple times during a season. It happened like twice every episode in the final season. Like it really felt like the Duffer Brothers, they knew how they wanted it to end, but they're like, oh, we got to get this done in 8 episodes. So like there's so much, just like there's so much lore happening, and to me it felt like there's one too many layers. Like there's even a part where I think Robin is trying to like discern all of the layers of existence that's happening in the final. It's like, okay, well, they go to that one plane of existence where it's just all black and there's water, and then we're going into like Henry's like memories, and then, oh, actually we're going to like a different planet, but then there's also like the upside down, and there's this like ball of energy that they're going to blow up. So there's like so much going on. It kind of felt like the story would have been more comfortable in like a book series, where it's like an 8 to 12 book series with dense sci-fi. And as you progress through the story, you can like dump more and more complicated stuff in it because you've been living with it for so long. So
No,
I think some people gravitated to it a little bit more, but I was like, they're overcomplicating this last season.
Well, most of that stuff you mentioned, they've already explained through the other 4 seasons. They don't need to. The layers are already there. I don't think they added any extra layers other than actual Dimension X, which I think was it named for the first time this season, maybe. But
I think it was like one of the kids just called it like Dimension X, and it wasn't clear to me. Is it a dimension, or is it another planet?
Well,
like
that's the one. The
universe?
one thing is like what happens when they merge was the one thing. I'm like, what happens when they merge? It's finally never told us because it wasn't going to happen to begin with. So that's perfectly fine. But like I said, I think there's missing story bits to get us here because it did escalate fast. I don't think the exposition. I disagree. As someone who doesn't care about the show at all, to me it was a perfectly adequate ending for a show that's been essentially mid the entire way through. And like I just wish there was a little bit more because like I feel like this it moved very quickly, and I appreciate that it moved quickly, but like I wish they had been able to connect some more dots because it felt like there were some dots. Like you mean it's the play. The play doesn't need to exist. That should have been a season, like a show, an episode, even something like a one-off, like a special presentation, like one shot kind of thing. Kind of like was it Invincible did that with that one chick. What's her name? Adam Eve, like the Adam Eve special. Like I wish
Honestly,
they would have turned that into an episode.
It would have been great because they had all of these years in between seasons. Like, can you imagine the one shot if it just would have came out like 18 months ago?
Yeah,
in between season 4 and 5, because obviously like the actors are busy, but really you only would have needed the guy who plays Henry. And you could have like scheduled that strategically to have him do that one episode. Get the Duffer Brothers. They could write it, but maybe like somebody else could just like shoot it or something like that.
Because they already have the story. They just need to turn it into an actual thing, and then they could have used those scenes in here.
Chris, I think what's happening here is actually we are agreeing. I think we kind of both agree that the finale kind of ended up just being okay or mid in a way.
Yeah.
I've just been more attached to the series over the years than you have, but I'm not like hyper levels of attached. If you've been seeing like the post that I've been seeing, the people that think this is the greatest piece of television ever made, that think it's the most amazing finale ever put to screen ever. I've seen like 20 image carousel posts of people like diving deep into the theory that 11 is still alive.
Oh
Oh, if
yeah.
you pause here on this screen, you can actually see a form in the background going into a door, and she's still alive. And I just keep thinking, you don't need to go into all of this depth. I think the Duffer Brothers have been pretty obvious through the character, the entire series, and just how they built the characters. That's like, yeah, she's still alive.
Well,
Like
this
it's a
is a
weird
spinning
way to kind of,
top. This is a spinning top at the end of that Christopher Nolan film. Like, is it the dream
yeah,
world or not? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's not another episode. It's whatever you want it to be
yeah,
at the end of the
exactly. So
day.
I just find it crazy. Like people are looking for like a shred of a pixel of like proof that she's still alive, and it's like they've obviously built this in a way in which like it's up. Obviously it's not up to the Duffer Brothers. I feel like it's up to Netflix in
Yeah.
20, 10, 15
The
years if they want to make a sequel and have Millie Bobby Brown come back, give her a big old packet of money, and they put out like a Stranger Things like sequel movie or something like
the
that. That's the real answer if she's still alive.
the only thing to me that would indicate that if I wanted to believe she's alive, I don't care whichever way it goes, is that the song "We Could Be Heroes" by David Bowie has played 3 times in the show, and every time it's whenever like they thought Hopper was dead at the end of season 2, and then you find out he just went to Russia, like through that portal or whatever.
Uh,
Like when someone was faked out to be dead, twice before they played "We Could Be Heroes" by David Bowie, and they played that at her death, and that would be like the only string we have that is like actual, like this could be some solid evidence that's not like looking at zoomed in pixels or like their names of the binders on the shelf, right? To kind of
yeah.
do this together.
And, and like speaking of music, I mean, okay, I love that Kate Bush song, just like everyone else does. It became viral in the last season. It's a great song. I'm happy for the resurgence of the music, right? But it just really felt like a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat every time they played it in the next season. I mean, I get it, that's how they brought her out of it, but it felt silly to hear the song again. Just felt like it was resting very, very well in the last season. It's in everyone's Spotify liked songs already. We hear it on occasion. It just felt it felt kind of
But
like, okay, hacky to just bring
it
it back again. It's like it had its moment. You should have just left it back in the
but
last season.
that was the song that saved her, so they didn't have any inclination that any other song would do it. So like story wise, it makes sense that that was the only song they wanted to play. They may have been able to use other songs for other moments. I don't know. I didn't really clock the other music throughout it.
I mean, story wise, it actually would make more sense to go back to Max's house, find her other cassettes, and play other songs because obviously it's not working.
I
Lucas
don't
has been in the
does
hospital playing that same song over and over again. It's not working.
but
It would have been more interesting maybe to hear some of Max's other music.
I don't know if she's. I don't. I think her mom left. Right, like she doesn't have a house. Like there's no like her brother died, her mom left, and I don't think there's anybody else there. Like
Or I'm sure she's got cassettes somewhere.
yeah, in a house that doesn't exist. All right. Um, Overall, like I said, to me, I'm fine with it. Like I said, this show is it's good, and they can the I would probably watch the spinoff about The Rock. I like sci-fi stuff, so I would probably see if it's good. I don't think it's gonna have the same what the cultural impact that this is. It's like watching Battlestar Galactica. What was the prequel at Caprica? Like it's like watching Caprica. Like yeah, it's a good show, but it's not gonna move the needle back to Stranger Things. And I don't even think the more I looked into it, I thought the animated series was set between 4 and 5. That would talk about like all these like what do they call them when they go into the upside down with the military? Runs, delves, dives, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what they
It,
call
what you
them.
know what they're talking about though. Whatever they were doing, I thought
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought the show was going to cover that in the animated series, but it's not. It's set between seasons 2 and 3, so I still don't know what that's going
Yeah,
to be on about.
it's very oddly set between like when they were still kids. So I don't really understand the point of the animated series, but I think I'll leave it at a post that I saw of one of the many that I saw that felt perfectly, where it's like Stranger Things fans thought the Duffer Brothers were making Lost, and looking for all of these like theories and secret codes and everything, when at the end of the day they were making what they were making the whole time, which is just the Goonies. And I feel like that's very true.
Yeah.
I think some people are reading into it a little bit too much in either direction. Truth lies in the middle, and I was just hoping for a little bit more for a show that's been going on for 9
I'll
years.
just say,
but now I'm curious, like, where does Netflix go now? Right, that
they bought Warner Brothers. They don't need this.
I guess that's true. Netflix ended, and so like, oh, we got to buy a whole catalog from another company now.
Yeah, I think the one thing for me is I'm just happy it didn't end as like they were playing D&D and this was the campaign the whole time.
Chris, you're going to be sad to hear that that's definitely a theory that I've.
Oh, I know. I know. I saw people say that from the beginning. It was like, oh, at the end it's going to be, but like they didn't actually do that. Like that's not what it is. Like the actual truth is, it's not what it is. So that would have been even more whelming, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. So, all right, well, let's kick it out of here, Mike. We've somehow made it through the show with you being connected the whole time. But we'll let you get going so you can see if your Wi-Fi is working or not. If people want to know what you're doing, what you're up to, where can they get you at, buddy?
Well, if they want to find out where we are connected to the heart of Pandora, or if they want to find out how we're connected to the Upside Down, Vecta's Mind, Henry's Memories, who even knows? All I know is we're over at superheroslate.com. That's the best place to find all the things that we're doing at this show. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love listening to podcasts. If you want merch, you can go over to superheroslate.com/store. What did you think of these finales out there? We want to hear from you. Are you more of a Chris or a Mike on the end of Stranger Things?
Which is the same. We just had different expectations.
Yes. Or do you absolutely agree that we need about 11 million more Avatar spinoffs? I want to just Disney, just create some venture capital and just create the planet. I just want to go visit it. Put me on a spaceship. That's what I'm saying. I want to go to this planet so bad. So we love hearing from you. We love our super fans. So if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you have to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, folks. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and we will see you guys as we kick off year 12 of the show. Catch you next week.
Bye. Man, a whole dozen.
Yeah. Next year's a Baker's
Did you hear
dozen.
my burp on the microphone?
Several times, yes. Several times.
I hit the mute button every time. I don't know if like it just was off sync or something like that.
Did you hit the mute button on your phone or did you on your computer?
Oh, you're right. Okay, so you were hearing them. So they're not going to be in the QuickTime file.
Yeah.
That's why you're hearing them. Okay, that makes more sense. I always mute it because I'm always drinking a soda or something when we're recording. So burps happen. So I'm always on. I know it's a cough button, but to me it's a burp button.
Yeah. It's definitely through the phone, and we'll be on the YouTube video. We'll not be on the actual file at the end of the day.
Oh, that's fun.
It is fun. All right. Anything else you need?
Well, that's it, man. You'll have my audio here momentarily.
Okay. I also one of the lawyers I do work for, he got a new job, so he had to kill his old website and URL, but he has hosting all the way through 2028. Through March of 2028. We can't move our stuff over there and then back after 2028. It would just be a hassle. It's all GoDaddy. But I'm thinking about trying to build a new site there for us and then merge it back over when we're done. We have essentially 2 years and 2 months to test it. So if we want to. So I might do that just because I have a free hosting account, like a economy hosting.
Yeah. Oh,
that way
I'm
not building live because I fucking hate building live. And there's nothing else to do with that. So I just figured I'd just run it by you before I committed to that. So, all right, man, you be careful. I'll talk to you later.
All right. See you, man.